Once upon a chilling night, a restless spirit lurked in the shadows of an old, decaying mansion. The air was heavy with the scent of dampness and decay, and the moonlight struggled to penetrate the thick fog that enveloped the property. In this eerie setting, a group of curious adventurers decided to spend the night inside the mansion, seeking thrills and excitement. They had heard whispers of its haunted past and were determined to uncover the truth. As the clock struck midnight, the group gathered in the mansion's grand entrance hall, their nervous laughter barely masking their unease. One by one, they explored the dark corridors and creaking rooms, their flashlights casting eerie shadows on the peeling wallpaper. As the night progressed, strange things began to happen. Objects moved on their own, doors slammed shut with an otherworldly force, and eerie whispers echoed through the air. Fear and tension gripped the group, but they were determined to stay until morning, convinced it was all just an elaborate prank. At the stroke of 3, a bone-chilling scream pierced the silence. The adventurers rushed to the source, only to find one of their friends pale with terror, claiming to have seen a ghostly figure floating above their bed. They tried to reassure their friend, but deep down, they knew they were in the presence of something truly supernatural. As the night wore on, the haunting intensified. The group witnessed apparitions wandering the hallways, their mournful cries echoing through the mansion. Each member experienced visions of the mansion's tragic past, reliving the sorrow and pain that had once consumed its inhabitants. Terrified and shaken to their cores, the adventurers finally decided to leave the mansion as the first rays of sunlight appeared on the horizon. They couldn't explain all they had experienced, but they knew they had come face to face with the restless spirit that haunted the mansion, and their lives would never be the same again. From that night onwards, they never spoke of the horror they had encountered within those haunted walls, but the memory of that night would forever haunt their dreams.
In the heart of a small, secluded village, an ancient inn stood, shrouded in mystery and fear. It had been abandoned for decades, but the locals spoke of its haunting history with hushed tones and wary glances. One stormy night, a young couple named Sarah and David found themselves stranded in the village after their car broke down. With no other options, they sought refuge in the forsaken inn, unaware of the chilling tales that surrounded it. As they stepped inside, the heavy wooden door creaked ominously, and an icy breeze welcomed them. The inn's interior was adorned with faded portraits and dusty relics, a glimpse into its glorious past now lost to time. The innkeeper, an elderly man with a haunted look in his eyes, reluctantly offered them a room for the night. He warned them not to wander the halls after midnight, cautioning that the inn was cursed and strange things happened during the witching hour. Ignoring the old man's warning, Sarah and David settled into their room as the clock struck 12. The wind howled outside, adding to the eerie atmosphere inside the inn. An unsettling feeling enveloped them, but they brushed it off as nerves from the storm. As the clock approached 3, the atmosphere in the room grew tense. Unexplained noises echoed through the corridors, and shadows seemed to dance in the corners. Sarah couldn't shake the feeling of being watched, and David noticed a chilling handprint forming on the fogged-up window. Suddenly, a soft, mournful melody filled the air, seemingly coming from nowhere. It grew louder and more haunting by the second. Sarah and David exchanged terrified glances, unable to comprehend the source of the eerie music. Summoning courage, they decided to explore the inn in search of the haunting melody's origin. As they ventured down dimly lit hallways, the music grew louder, leading them to the inn's long-forgotten ballroom. There, standing in the center of the ballroom, was a ghostly figure dressed in an ethereal gown. Her melancholic song emanated from her spectral form, filling the room with sorrow and longing. Unable to resist the pull of the haunting melody, Sarah and David watched in awe and fear as the ghostly figure moved with graceful sadness. The apparition seemed to be trapped in a never-ending loop, reliving a heartbreaking moment from the past. As the clock struck 3, the ghostly figure faded away, leaving Sarah and David shaken to their core. They knew they had witnessed something inexplicable and otherworldly. The couple hurried back to their room, vowing to leave the inn at first light. As the sun rose on the horizon, Sarah and David fled the village, forever haunted by the haunting melody and the tragic spirit they encountered in that forsaken inn. They could never forget that dreadful night, where the line between the living and the dead blurred, leaving an indelible mark on their souls.
In a remote and desolate countryside, nestled at the edge of a sprawling forest, stood an old abandoned mansion. Its crumbling facade bore the weight of time, and its once grand architecture was now a haunting reminder of a bygone era. Legend had it that the mansion was cursed, the unfortunate residence of a family steeped in dark secrets and forbidden knowledge. Locals dared not speak of the mansion, fearing that even uttering its name would invite the malevolent spirits that were said to roam its halls. One moonless night, a group of adventurous teenagers decided to test their courage and explore the infamous mansion. Braving the overgrown path that led to its imposing entrance, they entered the decrepit building, each step echoing through the desolate rooms. As the clock approached midnight, the atmosphere grew thick with tension. The creaking floorboards and distant howls of the wind made their hearts race. Yet, fueled by youthful bravado, they pressed on, determined to uncover the mansion's secrets. Suddenly, a piercing cry cut through the darkness, sending a chill down their spines. They froze in their tracks, straining to discern the origin of the eerie sound. It echoed through the mansion, seeming to come from all directions at once. Ignoring their fear, they followed the haunting cries to the mansion's attic. As they climbed the narrow staircase, they noticed cryptic symbols etched on the walls, hinting at ancient rituals and forgotten magic. Upon reaching the attic, they discovered a hidden room concealed behind an old, dusty tapestry. Curiosity overcoming caution, they entered, and what they found left them speechless with terror. In the room lay an ancient book, its leather cover worn and its pages filled with arcane symbols and incantations. Unbeknownst to the teenagers, it was a grimoire of dark magic, said to grant its reader unimaginable power, but at a terrible cost. Fueled by reckless curiosity, one of the teenagers picked up the book, unknowingly unleashing an ancient malevolent force trapped within its pages. The room trembled with an unnatural energy, and the temperature plummeted. As the clock struck 3, the mansion became a nightmarish realm, where reality and the supernatural fused into a horrific tableau. The walls seemed to bleed, the air thickened with malevolence, and the very fabric of time and space warped around them. They tried to escape, but the mansion had become an impenetrable labyrinth, shifting and changing its layout. Panic took hold, and the malevolent force toyed with their minds, showing them their deepest fears and regrets. In their struggle to break free from the mansion's grip, one of the teenagers accidentally dropped the grimoire. As it hit the floor, the mansion let out a deafening scream, and the malevolent force vanished as suddenly as it had appeared. Exhausted, terrified, and grateful to be alive, the group managed to find their way out of the mansion just as the first rays of dawn broke through the horizon. They vowed never to speak of that night again, knowing that they had come face to face with ancient evil, and the mansion's curse would forever linger in their memories, chilling reminder of the horrors they had witnessed.